This won't be available in 2013, but a Massachusetts company is working on new technology to keep drunk drivers off the road. This morning, Mark Strassmann looks at a project that's coming too late for one North Carolina couple.
You never get over the loss of a child, your son. It's just the worst thing you could ever go through.
Meredith and Matt Eastridge were driving home in October 2010 when another car, speeding 100 miles per hour, hit them head on. They both were critically hurt. Meredith, 6 months pregnant, lost their baby son.
And I think about him every day. I think about, how old he would be and what he would be doing and
the family you would have had.
Right.
David Huffman drove the other car. Surveillance video from the Charlotte bar showed he had the equivalent of 15 drinks in 2 hours. He stumbled outside and 3 minutes later was killed when his car crashed into the Eastridges.
It was something that could have been prevented. This is 100% preventable.
Outside Boston, a company called Kinetic is developing technology that could end drunk driving once and for all.
So we want to take this device.
Bud Zauk leads the $10 million project. All 16 major car makers and the federal government split the funding.
We've narrowed down to two types of technology. One is breath-based and one is touch-based.
But either way, the goal is somebody's impaired behind the wheel, the car does not start.
In our specification, the car will start but will not move.
In the touch-based approach, a sensor embedded in the car's start-stop button sends an infrared light into the fingertip. It measures the tissue's alcohol content. Or a sensor mounted near the steering wheel can test a driver's breath. In a half second, it reads whether the driver's alcohol count is above 0.08, the national legal limit. Zauk's team is still working through every driving scenario.
So the sensor could detect whether the person touching the button is actually sitting in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
Or whether somebody else
is trying to reach and touch the button.
Zauk says the technology could be ready by the end of the decade.
This is the single best opportunity we have to prevent 10,000 people from dying a year. It's the equivalent of a seatbelt of our generation.
But the technology is opposed by the American Beverage Institute, a trade group representing 8,000 U.S. chain restaurants. They worry about inaccurate sensors targeting all Americans, which could eliminate many people's ability to have a glass of wine with dinner, a beer at a ball game, or a champagne toast at a wedding, and then drive home. David Huffman's autopsy showed he was drunk almost 3 times the legal limit. The new sensors would have stopped his car from moving.
There were multiple times in that night that this tragedy could have been prevented.
If they get in the car and you're over that limit, then your car shouldn't work.
Since their accident, the Eastridges have had a daughter, Sloan, and won a settlement against the bar worth $1.7 million. Both say they would give back every penny for one more day with the son they lost. For CBS This Morning, Mark Strassmann, Charlotte.